I'm Ananya Dutt and I'm back with another edition of Race to Power. Here's what's coming up in the next 30 minutes. Who wants to rekindle relations with a sour former boss? Unless you want a job that only he can give you. UK's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is doing something similar. Stay tuned. Cyril Ramaphosa has been sworn in as South Africa's president for a second term. With that done and dusted, next challenge awaits him: how to form the cabinet while keeping everyone in the coalition happy. Starting with the latest, United Kingdom holds elections in 2 weeks from now. Among a slew of issues that will be on the ballot this year, one in particular remains in the spotlight of public discourse: immigration, a subject that has been discussed and debated by parliamentarians and citizens alike. In one English town, listen in to what residents had to say about immigration and its ramifications.
The town's getting multicultural, and that's good. That's what we need, and that everyone just getting to work.
It's gone a bit too far, I think. Too many people. Which some places in England you go to, there's more. You're kind of an outsider in your own country.
We do need people from around the world to help with certain jobs. I live near a farming community, and they're really struggling with trying to get people to come in.
I don't think that I'm taking anyone's place because I worked to be where I am today.
According to reports, the UK workforce has witnessed a significant increase in the number of foreign-born workers. Let's take a look at the change. In a 10-year span for the period of January to June,
We do need.
In 2024, the number so far reveals that UK employs 6.8 million or 20.7% immigrants as part of its workforce. In 2014, between the month of January to June, the country had 4.6 million or 15% foreign workers. Now, when it comes to the Tories, there seems to be no end to mounting trouble for the ruling party. In the latest, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is seeking out to his predecessor's help to turn the election around for the Conservatives. Sunak says Boris Johnson's endorsement for the Conservatives will quote-unquote make a difference to the party's prospects in the upcoming general elections. This, as a seat-by-seat poll suggests that the Tories could be reduced to 115 seats, with Labour taking 256 seats. Johnson has endorsed 50 Tory candidates. Also, he has put his name to tens of thousands of letters sent to voters as part of an effort to improve the electoral plight of the Tories. However, Johnson is unlikely to go out on the stump. Instead, he is going on a summer holiday, the second one in a space of a few weeks. He is expected to be back in the United Kingdom on July 3rd, which is just a day before the country goes to poll. Johnson blames Sunak for his departure from Downing Street in 2022. Sunak's resignation as Chancellor had hastened Johnson's resignation from the Prime Minister's post. Reports indicate that the former Prime Minister is harbouring ambitions of making a return to frontline politics and leading the Conservative Party if the Tories lose. Meanwhile, billionaire John Caldwell, who backed Boris Johnson in the last election, is not siding with the Tories this time. Caldwell said he will be voting for Labour in this election. Interestingly, Caldwell had given over £500,000 to the Tories in 2019 after warning that the prospect of Jeremy Corbyn becoming the leader was abhorrent and terrifying. However, now there has been a change of heart. Caldwell says he is impressed by Starmer's plan for the government after attending the Labour Party's manifesto launch. The plans to expand the economy particularly convinced him to cast his vote for Labour. He said, and I'm quoting, "It is socialism through capitalism. It's embedded in their mandate."
We did it. They said that we couldn't win in the south of England and the north.
Now, to tell us what's happening on the ground, our correspondent Stuart Smith is joining us live from London. Stuart, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Has this what it's come to? Rishi Sunak has to now bank on Boris Johnson to actually stay in power?
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Boris Johnson is an immensely popular figure among the Conservative Party members, among the those that vote for the Conservative Party, but also amongst the general population of the UK. Certainly compared, polling shows, to Rishi Sunak and also the Conservative Party more generally. So what he's doing, his team say, is no more and no less than has been asked by Rishi Sunak's team, which is not to go on the ground, door knocking on the streets, but to limit himself to videos and letters to influential figures in the party and videos which could be shared on social media endorsing various Conservative Party candidates in key seats to try to get people to vote for them. But he hasn't, he said, changed his holiday plans, and his team stresses that those holidays were booked long before Rishi Sunak called the surprise general election to take place in July. It may make a difference to the party's outcomes, but frankly, polling suggests that the Conservatives have not managed to change the tide when it comes to their unpopularity, and it seems unlikely that Boris Johnson's videos will make much of a difference to that.
Stuart, 14 years of Conservative rule in the United Kingdom. This election is touting to be the most important one in decades. How are the voters feeling just 2 weeks ahead of elections?
Well, for voters that are hoping for a Conservative Party to get into government, it feels almost like a hopeless situation. Labour have a significant majority, and now even the opposition parties are talking about why people should vote for them instead of Labour. It's no longer an attack on the Conservative Party to encourage people not to vote Tory. It's an attack on the Labour Party to encourage people to vote for other parties. So the Scottish National Party, the Green Party and the Reform Party are all saying that they would be a better alternative to Labour, with the Conservative situation largely apparent to voters as being an unredeemable one. As to how people feel, a lot of people feel it's already a done thing. The Labour Party will get into power, Keir Starmer will be Prime Minister, and so there's not much point voting. There are some key seats where definitely there will be a race, perhaps between Labour and the Liberal Democrats or Labour and the Conservative Party, but largely there's a feeling that this is a done deal, with people already talking about what Labour will do once it gets into power.
All right, Stuart, thank you so much for joining us from London and getting us all those updates. A day after European Union leaders of the 27-member bloc failed to reach a consensus on top jobs for EU Parliament, political parties across member nations are mulling over which umbrella alliance they will join. In the latest, Hungary's opposition party has decided to join European Parliament's EPP, or the European People's Party bloc, which is a centre-right alliance.
We are happy that the EPP group just voted in favour of our party. 97% of the EPP members supported joining the TISA party to the EPP. We are a pro-European party, as the Fidesz was some years ago.
TISA, the Hungarian opposition party, is led by Peter Magyar. The political newcomer is seen as a threat to Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, whose party used to once be a part of the EPP bloc. However, Orbán's party parted ways with the alliance in 2021. Magyar, on the other hand, will be occupying a seat in EU Parliament as an MEP. However, the opposition leader has emphasized that while being in Brussels helps strengthen the party's position, his focus remains on Hungary's elections in 2026. Now, Cyril Ramaphosa has been sworn in for a new term as president of South Africa after his weakened African National Congress struck a coalition deal. Chief Justice Zondo led Ramaphosa's oath of office ceremony before lawmakers, foreign dignitaries, religious and traditional leaders at the union buildings in Pretoria.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The prescribed oath. I have no.
Ramaphosa vowed to build South Africa as an inclusive economy.
Determined that by our deeds we shall heal the divisions of our past and overcome the ongoing inequalities and hardships
of the present, we declare to all to know that neither discord nor dissent shall cause us to cast aside that which calls us to build a united, free, just, equal and prosperous nation.
Lawmakers voted overwhelmingly to re-elect the 71-year-old last week after May 29th general elections produced no outright winner. Numerous heads of state, including Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Angola's João Lourenço, Congo's Denis Sassou, among others, attended the swearing-in ceremony. After Ramaphosa took oath, a band played the national anthem, followed by a 21-gun salute and a flypast by army helicopters. Now, correspondent Kaldin Ongu was present at Cyril Ramaphosa's inauguration address. She sends us a report from Pretoria.
Cyril Matamela Ramaphosa has been officially sworn in as the President of South Africa for the 7th administration. In his address, he was very clear that this is the new era and everyone must work together to build an equal, united South Africa. He said voters have given a clear mandate and their will shall be done. The easy part for ANC and President is over, and now the difficult task will begin. President Ramaphosa, in a day or two, will proceed to form a government, selecting ministers who will head various government departments and execute the administration's policies. This will test the so-called partners who have come together to form the government of national unity. President has already started consultations. An announcement of the final decision will be made anytime this week. This is Kaldin Ongu from Pretoria, South Africa for WION World is One.
Now, with President Emmanuel Macron announcing snap elections in under 2 weeks' time, France has been thrown into an early campaigning season. As both sides of the French aisle prepare for the electoral showdown, opinion polls show that the French far right could not only dethrone Macron, but also flip France's foreign policy on Ukraine and change the fate of Europe. Take a look.
French politics has been thrown into full campaign mode after President Emmanuel Macron called a snap election. With polls opening on June 30th, the move was a gamble to try catch other parties off guard, with just a few weeks to prepare, and came after Marine Le Pen's national rally trounced Macron's ruling centrist party in European Parliament elections. But how will it all play out, and will Macron's plan pay off? There are 577 constituency contests, one for each seat in the National Assembly. Candidates with an absolute majority of votes in their constituency are elected in the first round, but usually a second round is needed to reach this criteria. To qualify for the runoff, candidates need first round votes amounting to at least 12.5% of registered voters. The top scorer wins the second round. The President will name the Prime Minister, usually from the party with the most seats. For the first time in France's post-war history, opinion polls show the far right could win. Speaking after the snap election announcement, Executive Director of the Centre of Political Sciences at Sciences Po, Anne Muxel, said the strategy from Macron could backfire.
It's a play at risks because he opens the possibility that the extreme right arrives for the first time at the government, and it opens the eventuality to have a cohabitation in France between him, the President of Republic, and the government.
An absolute majority requires at least 289 seats. National Rally could run a minority government if it wins the most seats without reaching that threshold. But 28-year-old party leader Jordan Bardella has said it wanted an absolute majority or would not be able to carry out reforms. Cohabitation, where the government is of a different political stripe from the president, has occurred in 3 periods in French history. The government has most of the power on the domestic front, but the president is the head of the military and wields influence abroad. The division of power on foreign policy is not clear-cut though, and that could be an issue for France's stance on the war in Ukraine or European Union policy. Macron will have to deal with the new parliament for at least a year, then he could call another snap election. He won a second mandate in April 2022 and is president for 3 more years. Neither parliament nor the government can force him out before that.
Immigration is the hot topic leading the debates for 2024 US presidential elections. Both the nominees, the incumbent Joe Biden and former US President Donald Trump, have held alternative views, and now Biden has announced citizenship to hundreds of immigrants without legal status in the United States. The aim behind the action is to balance his recent crackdown on the southern border, which angered various Democratic lawmakers. Biden announced that his administration in the coming months will allow certain U.S. citizen spouses without legal status to apply for a permanent residency and with time citizenship without having to first depart the country.
Second action I'm announcing today was about keeping families together, about keeping couples together who are married, where one spouse is a U.S. citizen, the other is undocumented. They've been living in the United States for at least 10 years. These couples have been raising families, people who are affected today, but living in the United States all this time with this fear and uncertainty. We can fix that, and that's what I'm going to do today. Fix it.
Biden's action amounts to most expansive federal protection for migrants in over a decade. It also sets up a significant political contrast with Donald Trump, whose hardline stance on mass deportations include rhetoric casting migrants as dangerous criminals. As per officials, the new Biden program will be open to an estimated 500,000 spouses who have lived in the United States for at least 10 years as of June 17th. As per the new rule, some 50,000 children under age 21 with a U.S. citizen parent will also be eligible. Let's talk about the Philippines now. In 2022, 2 political families, Marcos and Duterte, had joined hands for the very first time to form the government. Experts always expected it to collapse, but they're surprised by how soon the gloves came off. Earlier today, Vice President Sara Duterte resigned from her cabinet post. She was the education minister as well as the vice chair of an anti-insurgency task force. Duterte has stepped down from both posts. She will continue to be Philippines vice president, however, but that's largely limited to a ceremonial role. Sara Duterte says that her resignation shouldn't be seen as a sign of weakness, but because of true concerns for teachers and the youth. You see, the cracks were evident in January itself when Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s predecessor and Sara's father, Rodrigo Duterte, accused the president of using drugs. At the time, the mayor of Davao City, who also happens to be the brother of Vice President Duterte, called for Marcos's resignation ever since. There has been pushback from Marcos' side as well. Since coming to power in 2022, Marcos has reversed Duterte's pro-China stance and pivoted back to the United States. The biggest blow to the Marcos-Duterte relationship came late last year when Marcos considered Philippines rejoining the International Criminal Court. It was after Rodrigo Duterte had withdrawn membership over objections to a bid by the court to investigate a bloody anti-narcotics campaign under him. Now, how this latest split affects the power struggle in the country remains to be seen.
Ang mga heads of office secretary, alam nila yan. So, balik ko kayo sa bahay.
Now, what would happen if you were told that your member of parliament is an AI who will make laws now? UK businessman Steve Ennicourt is contesting the national election as AI Steve. The face on the campaign leaflet is an AI-generated avatar of the 59-year-old.
Hi, I'm AI Steve, standing to be MP for Brighton and Hove. I'd love to know what policies you'd like me to adopt and what you think needs to change. With me, you'll have a representative who is truly connected to.
I think of a concept that's really interesting. It's incorporating AI, which is apparently the future, but also AI and politicians, I guess, have the one thing in common is they can't be trusted, either one of them. So it's interesting to use the technology, but we also need trust and transparency, and I don't know if that's going to necessarily be built through AI.
And with that, we're wrapping up this edition of Race to Power. Thanks for watching with me, Ananya Datta. Goodbye.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. Proposed tax hikes in Kenya's Finance Bill 2024 causes concerns and outrage as companies and small businesses fear huge job losses, even as President William Ruto defends the controversial law. South African authorities are recruiting traditional healers in an attempt to tackle the stigma and reluctance of people to test for HIV. And meet South Africa's first black woman to lead and own an all-black orchestra. Watch World of Africa at these times, only on WION. World is One.
This week on Take It Out, we tell you how the Indian government is planning to stop the menace of fraud calls. We show you a robot that can explore the challenging terrain of caves on the Moon and Mars. And we introduce you to some high-tech gadgets that can help you take better care of your pets. This and more on WION World is One at these times.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the US.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA.
Join the conversation.
Namaste. Hello, friends. We did Dr. Subhash Chandra show, popularly known as DSC show, for 4 years, from August 2014 to August 2018. 28 states of Bharat. Of course, we reached out to all of you in 190 countries across the world. The show was very successful. Each episode was being watched by almost 25 million people every week. For past 6 years, the demand of the show has never died down. People write to us, people ask for the show to restart again. Hence, we are beginning the show once again on All Z Network, also on WION, which is the global network channel from India. Again, thank you for your love and affection. See you soon at Subhash Chandra Show.
WION Health Resort is unique, the only one of its kind. Experience the 4 paths of natural wellness: yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy. Each uniquely customized program improves the whole person to make every person whole. Come to WION Health Resort. Make your reservation at WION.com.
Everyone